Alrighty. Do you need the link to this? This link?
It presents everybody in the minimized window.
Okay.
It's on that.
This.
It's live now.
Okay.
So minimize it. Yeah.
All right. Hi everybody. If you don't know my name already, it's Meredith. Basically, I'm here today, so you guys know how to use Git for your projects and industry, whatever you need to do. So, how many people here know what Git is, or has like taken a look at the website at least? Cool. How many of you have it installed on your laptops? Okay. Just out of curiosity, how many people here are using Windows? Okay. Did you guys get the installation done? Like, did you guys have any problems? Or have you not gone around to it yet?
If there are active issues making a repository from my local desk to get my Git, because the software is not at all friendly. I mean, I didn't find it really
Is it,
useful.
you're mostly using a graphical user interface, right? Like you're just clicking things around. My advice to everybody using Git with Windows right now is to try and find something called Git Shell or Git Bash. And usually they'll include a terminal that's sort of a Linux emulator. And so all of the commands I'm doing right now is going to look practically the same.
I have that installed as well, but I mean, I was just trying the GUI out the other day and it was being hard.
Okay. But yeah, like in general, if you guys have any questions, just yell it out, raise your hand or something. If you're taking too long, I'll try to move it along, but I'm probably taking too long. Oh, so for everybody online, somebody here said that he was having trouble getting his local, if I'm understanding correctly, your local repository into Git or Bitbucket, right? Okay. In that case, I'm going to start off by creating a local repository right now and showing you how to push to GitHub. So basically, the main reasons for using Git over Dropbox would be Dropbox usually creates extra files for when people like edit the same file at the same time. You'll see later on that Git does really nice management for when people are editing the same thing at the same time. And okay. So right now, this is my home directory. And I just want to make a new directory that's, what do I want? I want to actually create a project that's sort of takes a script I made for my workplace, but I think it would be really personally useful. So I'm just going to call this, okay, so mkdir means to make a directory. And that's literally what it is. So I'm making a directory, and I'll just call it Git Workshop for now, because I'm not quite sure how to call it. So you'll see that Git Workshop is right here. I'm going to change directory into it and clear the screen. So you can see right now that there's totally no files, except like these two things on Linux mean your present directory, the directory you're currently in, and then this means the parent directory. So if you do ls ... you can actually see like that was where I was before, right? To create a new Git project, you do git init. And it's this initialized empty Git repository in my folder .git. And you'll see in .git, there's like a bunch of setup files, but really most of the time, all you ever really deal with is the config file. And in the config file, you'll see, oh, hey, they have a bunch of configuration stuff, but it's not really anything interesting right now. But now I actually, go for it.
I'm just, the MKDIR that you did the Git Workshop, does it save automatically? You just save them where you in the folder. Okay.
Yeah, so, yeah, there you go. So right now I'm going to go to GitHub, and you can use Bitbucket too, but ew, this is not looking nice. What's going on? Okay, so resize it? Oh, font size? It did. Yeah, well, I am going to press the plus button anyway because I want to create a new repository. And let's just also call this Git Workshop. And we want this to be public so you guys can clone from this after this workshop. And this usually just creates a file for you. And it's like stuff you want to actually ignore, which means stuff that's already created in a file called .gitignore. Those files will never be seen by Git itself. Meaning like if you have like a bin directory, like where you're compiling all of your Java classes into, that won't be committed. And usually it's good practice to never save things that can be generated into repositories. And that's actually a really big thing in industry. Like you get bloated repositories because people commit stuff you could automatically download through builds. And I'm going off on a tangent. So let's just create the repository. Actually, that's not what I want to do. I'm sorry. I messed up. I don't want to have to read me in there. And usually if you start off in Bitbucket or GitHub, you'll see something like this. And it says like, oh, so what this does, it just creates the file, but it doesn't really do anything to it. And this is like the Git init I showed you. Git add is the next thing I'm going to do. So back here, I already did Git init. And I'm just going to add, say, a file called readme. I'm going to say starter file for, right. I'm going to save it, and I'm going to get out of this editor. And hey, I have this. Now, the first command, and this is a really fundamental command that you're always going to run, is called git status. And it says, hey, initial commit, and you have untracked files. And what an untracked file means is like you haven't actually saved it to Git, and you haven't really done anything with it. It's just like, oh, we know it's there, but we're not really doing anything with it. So if I actually wanted to add it under Git, I just do this. And if I do git status again, you have, hey, there's a new file, but it says to be committed. And to be committed really means you're saying I'm going to save it, but I haven't actually saved it yet. And if you actually want to save it, usually do, I'm going to commit it. I'm committed to like this being a change. And I'll say, yes, I want to readme in here. But usually you wouldn't say that. You'll just say like add readme. And if you do a git log, you'll say, hey, you have this, or you have git log. I added just like one line in the file. So now that I have one thing saved, how in the world do I get this into GitHub? I mean, the instructions are right here, and I can just paste this actually. What this does is it's saying there's a remote server that I'm going to save my Git project in. And so I'm doing git remote add, and I'm going to call that remote server origin. And this is like a standard thing you have in Git. Usually you'll add it to origin. And this is the URL of my Git repository. So if you actually want to define this, you'll see after I push, but git push -u origin and master. So this is where I'm going to start talking about what branches are. The master branch is usually the default branch that always exists no matter what Git project you're working on. It's like the main branch that you're always working on. Wait, and actually if you want to see all the branches you have right now, you have, right now I'm currently on the master branch, and this means that the master branch actually has been set up to track origin. And remember git config earlier? So I'm going to do that again. Git, yeah. So doing this git remote add, all it really does is Git automatically goes into git config and it adds in remote origin. And it says the URL is this. And every single time you want to pull changes, it just goes to this URL. And this is usually all set up where you usually the only thing you ever have to change is this URL if like you rename your repository or something.
So is the origin a variable for the URL?
Basically, like I have done stuff where like I was working with 2 repositories at once. Like I'd push to the main one that everybody was working on, and I also would push to a personal one that nobody really ever saw. And in that case, like I do git remote add, and I'd say like origin to, or like sometimes what I also do is I also migrate my repositories from GitHub to Bitbucket, because GitHub, usually you have to pay for private repositories, although this is a good note. Usually you can go to sorry, let me move this. And that really is not what I want to show you guys. Remember correctly, this is not it. Oh. There we go. Usually you can request a discount if you just give them your student account. You'll get 5 free private repositories, but with Bitbucket you have unlimited private ones. And if I wanted to create one on Bitbucket, I just go to Bitbucket and I create a URL, Git repository, and I actually add the URL. So like maybe I'd call this Bitbucket, HTTPS something, right? And like it still work, but and you can see like now there's a remote called Bitbucket. And if I wanted to, I could try to do git push set upstream, which means like create a new branch in your remote repository. Bitbucket master, right? This is gonna fail because that's not really a real URL. But what I'm actually gonna do now is instead of doing it to Bitbucket, I'm gonna push it to origin. And we are now live. We are now live. That is the wrong thing. Here. And the README is here. So go for it.
Can you review how you linked the GitHub to the Git repository that you made when you created
GitHub to the Git? Sure. So right now, all I did was, in order to get the repository in there, all I did was git init, which first creates it locally.
Yeah.
And then I git add something, git commit something. And then you do git remote add origin, and then this URL over here. Usually all you have to do is use this URL. So I'm gonna show you another way to get your repository locally. So say you already have a repository like this, or you have a repository like, you guys can't see the screen. D3JS GitHub. Yeah. So say I wanted to look at the source code for this really cool visualization framework. All I would need to do is I'd copy that. I go to my terminal, get back into my home directory, and I do git clone this, right? And you can also do this. Oh God, this is actually a pretty large repository. Oops. But usually you can do a clone, and that will also get you your repository. So you could have optionally, remember how I sort of messed up at the beginning, and I created, I can't see what I'm doing with the screen. Yeah, this one, right? And I already had the README. I could have just cloned it from this URL and continued editing, but I really wanted to show you guys like what it looks like when you first start. And also like just so you know that if you mess up, you can always just go and look for directions. And this is still going, and I kind of don't really want it to finish, but it's almost done. Let's go to a new tab. So let's go back to, okay. We have this now. What was I gonna go over? So I've showed you how to do these installs. You'll be able to find. It's pretty straightforward. If you guys have any questions about how to install, just come find me. I've showed you how to do git clone. git status, git add, git commit, and git push, right? And basically, the main thing you need to remember for git push is you don't need to do the -u all the time, only if you're creating a new branch. And I guess let me just edit something. So another thing I'm mentioning here is aliases. So right now I've been typing out git status the entire time. Usually, actually, when I'm working, I do this, and it does the same exact thing. And what that's really doing is it's bringing up a file called over here, bash profile. This is in your home directory, and if you're on Linux, you can set this up really easily. What it really does is it aliases like things I do often. Sorry, let me go down. Yeah, here we go. Stuff like this, right? This is what I really do. I do GS, and it just does git status for me. I do GBV, and it just shows me all of the branches I have. And I do git add, so on and so forth, git commit. This is actually pretty cool. Git log one line, which basically shows you to git log, but it shows in a really concise manner, and git push. So like you have that. If I show you, this is like a homework commit I have, homework repository I have, and doing -5 only shows you like the last 5 commits. But let me go back to where I was. I just wanted to. I want to copy auto configs, and this is something I had for work. Run auto.sh to here. So yeah, I have this file in here right now. And I'm going to open up and show you guys what's in here. This is a bash script I wrote to just copy like that bash aliases file I had. And when you run it, it just automatically sets up things that I already did. And this is, right now, this command line editor is called Vim. I'm a huge fan of it. Some people like Emacs, and some people just prefer Sublime Text. Or Atom. Atom is a new thing that GitHub came out with. It's their editor. That's also pretty cool. You guys should check it out. And so this is pretty boring stuff. Well, this is like a Vim package manager where you get cooler stuff. That's outside the scope. So I have runauto.sh. But I'm not entirely sure I want all of the parts in runauto.sh in here. Like, I have stuff for Vim, and I have stuff for bash aliases, but I kind of want to break it up into different files. So I'm just going to save this right now. Oh, and this period is sort of a shortcut. Usually you will do like git add and then the individual file you want. If you just want to add everything, doing the period is a really fast way to do it. And you can see here I didn't use the -u. Git push usually automatically only pushes the branch you're on. And that's very important. It doesn't push all of the branches you've edited right now. Usually only pushes the one you're on. Or sorry, that's git pull. Git push pushes everything. And you might run into troubles later on if you have like stuff on another branch somebody else edited, and you need to pull in their changes first. Let me actually show you that. That's true for this. So this creates a new branch called multiple files, and you can see that with this, right? But I actually haven't switched the branch yet, and you can see that with this asterisk. You'd switch to it with, yeah. Yeah. And actually, this says show all of the branches. And you can see that right now in GitHub, there's only master. There's, like, if you go and look at my personal repository, you're not going to see multiple files yet until I do this again, right? Oh, sorry. And no releases. That should work. Whoa. So a really basic thing about Git is their commit hashes. So every single commit, every single save you sort of make, you can think of the commit hash as a sort of ID for it. So if you want to look up the commit, that's how you would look it up. And actually, you can see it right here. In the previous, when you viewed all the branches, you see that they're all on the same commit. Like, they are all on the same sort of version of the code. But now if I edit, let me actually just open this up in Atom. Not that, this one. So now I'm gonna create, whoa, how do I do this? New file. And I just want, say, this in there. I actually will need different things. But say I just want to split things up. And I also want to save this. And now if you go back into your terminal, you'll see that Git status. It says I've modified run auto, but I also have the untracked files. And say I go, actually, I only want the Vim stuff for whatever reason. Like, I don't want to deal with doing bash aliases right now because you'll see that if you ever Google it, usually on Linux, stuff is set with .bash_aliases, whereas on Macs, it's like, we have, this is what I have, but usually the only thing that works is bash profile. And this is just something I have because I refer to it. Or actually, I think what I did was, oh, sorry. This is home directory, and I'm opening up my bash profile. So I do actually have all of this. I thought I might have actually just referred to the other file, so I guess I didn't do that. Okay. Right now, I want to show you guys a merge conflict. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to commit this, and then I'm going to also edit run auto.sh inside of master. And then I'm going to try and bring this branch's changes into master. So what it's going to look like is in multiple files, run auto.sh will only have one thing. But in master, run auto.sh will have everything plus like one comment. So So you'll see that the commit hashes are totally different. Another thing on GitHub you can look at is it's actually in graphs. And then you can go to commits. Sorry, chat. Network. There we go. And you'll see like you have master and then you have that commit I just did. So now I'm going to switch back to master. And you'll see, remember how runall.sh had nothing here, right? But now it has everything. That's because it's when you check out branches, it's literally switching between different versions of code. So like if you were working on an assignment and you're like, yes, I have a working version and you want to start breaking stuff, you'd branch. And it's actually, there's a saying out there is like, when you start breaking things, you want to start branching in Git. It's sort of, you can think of a branch as sort of a save point. So now let me say vim, what do I want to do with this? Say, say I didn't want to deal with this, install vim please. And I just didn't want to be prompted to install vim every single time the script was run. Great. And just really quick so you guys know what this does. It means just hash is something that checks for if a command exists. And otherwise, so basically this is saying if vim exists, do all this stuff, otherwise don't do anything. Okay, so that's saved. And actually now I'm getting kind of confused about what I've done with runall.sh, and I kind of want to see like what I've done so far. So I can actually just do this and you'll see that, oh, cool. In runall.sh, git diff literally tells me, hey, I removed these things. And I can also I can actually compare the current runall.sh with, oh God, I think I remember how to do this. Sorry, git diff master and multiple files run auto.sh. Here we go. And so this is saying runall.sh in master doesn't, wait, this is like what's been removed from master. And this is what's been removed from multiple files. Does that make sense? So back in master, like remember when I ran the git diff? Okay, how can I tell? To be honest, usually I couldn't tell. And I was thinking that this was, on my part, bad presenting. I should have tried adding something here to make it more apparent. But actually, I think what would make it more clear is if I committed to master first and then ran the git diff. Yeah, that's true. So there's another thing that you can do is, wait, ls, cat to random file, hello, this is something for an example. And you can see that now that creates a random file. And if you actually take a look at what's inside of it, it's exactly what I just typed. But if I run git diff again, it really does not show anything. Excuse me. Git add random file. There we go. So good. There we go. Staged. This is what I want to show you. So git diff actually can show you things that you've changed but you haven't actually committed yet. Does that make sense? Okay. let's actually commit that. So I've added, this is on master right now. I've added run auto.sh and I've added some random file. And if I do a git diff again, I only see this, but if I do a git diff stage, it again shows nothing because I haven't staged anything anymore, right? But what if I actually wanted to compare just these two commits, right? Or even better, if I wanted to commit, or if I wanted to compare master branch with multiple files, or if I wanted to compare, actually, yeah, let's just do that. Git, I could do this and this. And again, this is something that shows you exactly what happened, right? So it's saying that it added Vim setup file because there wasn't anything in that branch. And there actually was a Vim setup file in this branch. And this shows absolutely nothing. Huh? Go for it, Igor.
We could get diff with do diff with the 2 commits.
Wait.
You have 2 commits on master, right?
I have 3 commits on master, but sure.
So could you compare, instead of comparing the diff of master branch, compare the diff of like a file, so one file.
1 file and 2 commits. So in that case, you do git diff. It's right here. These 2 commits, and I only wanted to do run auto for that example. This only shows run auto. Yeah. But wait, so now I do have what I want. Master has this commit and multiple files has this commit, right? Now they're both on 2 different commits. Boom. So let me refresh this. And hey, multiple files has, oops. Oh, yeah, you can also see the git diff stuff on here. And personally, I think Git makes it a lot cleaner. Like you can actually see what's going on. You can also comment on stuff like this, and that comes in pretty useful when you're working on your own projects or with other people. But now I want to move in this back to master. So usually what you do to pull in changes from one branch to another is you check out the branch you want to pull changes into, and then you merge in those changes. So I want to go from multiple files, and I want to create something on master that has multiple files changes. Does that make sense? So I want to bring the changes back into master. I'm working on master, so all I really need to do right now is git merge multiple files. Oh, shoot. Oops. So this is what happens when you have stuff that's not saved. And actually, I don't really care about what the changes right now, so I'm just going to do, I'm going to stage it. You can see that. And I'm actually going to stash it. And what stashing does is it says save working directory and index state work in progress on master. And it's saying that, oh, I saved it at this commit. Really all it does is it sticks something, it sticks your changes somewhere else. And actually you can see, oops, a dash. These are all the things in my stash right now. This is like stuff I've saved, but I haven't really committed yet, so you couldn't see in the branch. This is only local, right? And I'm just gonna do the same thing again. Yeah, you do. So usually git add is how everything gets into Git. If you don't do a Git add and it says like untracked files, you will literally never be able to look up the files that are untracked in Git. Does that make sense? Also, just doing Git add as a general principle on a regular basis is good, because if you Git add something and then you totally get rid of it, you can look it up with something called Git reflog. But personally, I haven't messed up enough times yet, or usually I just like start over, so I'm not that familiar with Git reflog. But usually if you do like Git reflog undo revert or undo reset, right? Like that's how you would look up something. And yeah, like this actually brings me to another topic about resetting stuff. It's like, hey, what if I made a bad commit, right? So actually, let me merge this in. So this is actually a generated commit message, and this is what usually happens when you merge something in. You can also set up your default editor. You don't have to use Vim. I just personally like using it. Yeah. Okay, so merge made. It says run auto had all of those things deleted, and Vim setup also had a bunch of things deleted. Actually, but remember how I said the git diff was actually a really bad example, because in master I removed this, and then in multiple files I removed this, right? And actually that's a really bad example. Does that make sense? Like ideally, yeah, when it was removed, right? And usually like you just go straight to the git log and on GitHub just to look it up. So, okay. Here, refresh. And now there should be, whoa. Are you okay? Git log. Okay. What? Did I push your, oh, okay, it just didn't load. And that's pretty much what happened. But say somebody else came in and they're like, Meredith is doing a really horrible job at this, and they wanted to just start working instead of working from, I'm sorry. Fine. Instead of working from here or here or here or here, they wanted to clone my repository, and they just wanted to start working from this base file that I already had. So I think I did clone something. So I'm just gonna clone this again, just to show you like from a perspective of somebody else what it would look like. Oh, it's not here. So say I'm the second person who thinks Meredith is stupid, and they want to start off, they want to just get rid of everything, and they want to start from that new branch. And you would do this. And you do git log, and you go, what the hell is this? I don't want that. I want to go back to this. So 7 numbers. Oh, another thing about these IDs, you only need the first 7 numbers for any hash to be unique. And that's just usually common knowledge. So I want to branch off of master, So can anybody guess what this does?
Checking out a new branch if you create it.
Yep, that's exactly it. And so Git checkout usually checks out a branch, but -b is exactly as what's your name?
Tomorrow.
Tamara. It's exactly what Tamara said. This is creating a new branch called new person, whoever I am. And I'm saying I want to check this branch out at this commit. Now, what if I hadn't done -b? What if I just done, like I forgot about creating a new branch and I just did this, right? It says, oh shoot, you're checking it out, but you're in a detached head state. And what detached head really means, like what this blob, this huge blob of text really means is you're looking at the version of files in this repository, but because it's not an actual named branch and you haven't pushed it into GitHub or into anywhere else, nobody else is going to see the changes you've made. So like going back to this network graph, it's as if like you took this commit and you created it and it's like just this floating little dot over here. And if you make more commits afterwards, it's not part of the same tree. And that's what a detached head state is. And usually I would do that if I just wanted to see like what changes somebody made locally and I didn't feel like creating a new branch and all that other stuff. But right now I actually just, and you can see it, it's actually detached. I actually just want to be here and I want to go back to that not stupid commit, right? So git checkout new person again, and git log dash, actually just git log one line. And hey, wait. Oh, and actually this did exactly what I was gonna do, and I actually didn't need to do a reset to do it, but you can see like I copy pasted the actual commit number, right? Like, and what I'm gonna show you now is another way to get to this state. Like, so this commit hash is the same as here. It's the same as this commit hash, right? Actually, I can do it here now. If I want to remove this commit and I just want to be here, you would do git reset head, because head right now is pointing to this commit, -1. And what -1 means is it just means like go back from head by 1. That's all it really means. So, and it says, hey, you have unstaged changes after reset. And this also happens to be the changes I made to run auto -sh, right? So this looks pretty familiar, right? Actually, I'm getting kind of tired of having this output onto my screen and having to scroll through it. So what I'm going to do from now on is I'm going to do this. I'm going to say, this is a nice hack for always seeing color. Less is what it usually just automatically outputs to. It's like something you can scroll through without actually having everything print out onto your console. So this just, the -r just means like, hey, I want to see the colors. And hey, it looks just like normal, but when I quit, clean, right? And yeah, that's just a trick I thought you guys might find cool because I found out about it this summer. And I got really tired of that stuff. Okay, but back to what we were doing. We were getting rid of, now I want to do, we were getting rid of that first commit, remember? Like there was another commit up there. Now we're actually here, but now I have all of these changes that were made by that third commit. So it's like it undid the commit, but it still saved my changes. And this comes in useful like when you make a commit, but you're like, oh shoot, I forgot to include something in it. This is what you would do. So I could do git, that is not my last commit message. Oh, oops. This is an alternative syntax, this -a. This is another way of saying like add everything. The main difference between doing this and doing a period is you actually also add everything you delete. So if you want to remove something, so git, you could do git remove. Actually, I only want the vim stuff, right? And you get this message, right? And so -f would mean I actually totally deleted it and I really don't want it. And --cache is basically the same thing as a soft reset. Like when you do a reset without --hard, it means a soft reset, which means like keep all of your changes, but just undo my commit for me. Like I had a typo in the message or something. So git status again, git commit. And if I do git log right now, I'm like, wait, that's not what I want to say. So you can just press up twice to get the command back. And another shortcut for just redoing a commit is saying amend. And amend is a nice thing you can use in general. Like if you just want to fix the last commit you had, like I want to say, hey, this isn't really that. This is redo a commit. Right? If you git log now, hey, it's right there. Or if I say touch and say you wanted this to be a part of this commit, you would do git commit and say I didn't want to change the commit message, just do that. And it says, hey, redo a commit, but now you also have this new file in that commit. This is the same exact thing. And just quit out of it. And it's still there. But so this actually shows you the pluses and minuses. And the minuses means like, oh, you removed stuff. Pluses mean you actually added 35 lines here. It says I didn't add anything here except for a new file.
Can you use this amend thing on some specific commit, or is it just for the last commit only?
Amend is only for the last commit. In general, it's always only for the last commit. And so if I didn't like the way something was way back, so like add readme.md. Say I actually wanted stuff in this readme before I committed anything. What you can do is, and now this is getting a little bit more advanced now, but this is git rebase literally is rewriting your history. So wait, let me actually push everything I have first. Cool. So redo a commit, move stuff out. So now I want to go all the way back to here, and I want to change like what's in this, right? Because the README really is just this, right? So git rebase. Wait, how many commits back is this? This was 1, 2, 3 commits back. But I think since this was the first commit, I'm going to have to do. Since this was the first commit, I might need to look something up to do it. But -I means interactive, so it means like it'll prompt you in between what you're doing. And I want to go back to all the way. Oh, okay. Yeah, we need a single revision. And so I'm running into a special case here where, like, because it's the first commit, I actually can't edit it. But let's actually edit in the second commit. So this really says all you need to know. When you say pick, it means like you actually want this commit in your history. And usually by default, everything will be pick. If you actually want the rebasing to actually just stop at a commit, like say I don't want to say redo a commit here. Let's say edit. And these are other things you can do, like squash would be like mixing 2 commits into one. Oh, and then like the difference between squash and fix up would be, I've tried doing this before, but this is way more advanced. It's as you need to use it. It's not really more advanced as much as it's like it's not often used unless you want your history to look perfect. But let's just say I wanted to edit this one thing. And it says, you're now on commit, redo a commit, right? So what it did was it went back all the way through my history and it's just stopping at that commit. And if I do git log, it says this. Oh, okay. Wait. Actually. The 4, 5 is what I wanted. I want to redo this last commit message, but mainly I just wanted to show you guys how to be able to walk through history and just be able to edit stuff. That's really all I wanted to show you guys. Does that make any sense? Oh, shoot. Oh, okay. And right now, I'm just going to add the changes here. Or actually, so this means that I'm changing my history to only have this, to have the README changed and also have run auto added. Does that make sense? And
So you in the branch called Darcy right now? Is that what I'm seeing? Are you, it's you're on that branch called new person right now, right? This is rebasing new person.
okay, so Tamara here asked if I'm currently on the branch new person and if I'm rebasing new person. That's correct. But since new person actually goes back into all the way back to here, so the commits available on new person would be these three. And these three is like the things that I'd be able to rebase through. Does that make sense?
So new person is that green, and the green one connects to that new.
Yes.
So that's all, you go back all the way to there.
Yeah.
Could you put technically hop along any path along the green if you wanted to?
Along the green, yeah. Redo a commit. What did I do here? And now new person looks like this. But the problem is new person looks like that. But this is a different commit. Like it says 4563A91, right? But over here it's it's a different thing. So I actually just ran to this afternoon. One of my classmates didn't like one of his commits. He reset it and he made a new commit on top of that. And then he tried to do this, git push. And it goes, it's rejected. It's not a fast forward. It's like it's going back. Updates were rejected because your current branch is behind what's in GitHub right now. And that's because that newest commit, redo a commit, the one that looks like this, it can't find it at the tip of new person. So usually it's super bad practice to totally rewrite history if you've already pushed it. And this is just me showing you so you know how to do it if this is like your own personal repository or like you've called up every single person in your group and you're like, hey, can I rewrite history? Don't get mad at me for rewriting history because usually it means that everybody has to pull in the new changes and like forcefully rewrite the changes in their own local repository. Huh? Yeah.
In that branch, and they come across this one does that, they have to remerge their work.
They don't necessarily have. So for the people online, somebody asked if, or they just commented if people were already working on something and they came across if their work was changed. Is that what you're saying?
So when you rebase and did a rebase and I'm actually thinking of a different situation where the rebase and on the whole you force pushed it to remote, which will change set of commits on there. That causes huge problem for people who are working from that same remote branch.
Yeah. So it's true. That's why people get mad is because it's exactly what you just said. When people rebase and push their changes, people who are already working on that same branch who had their history rewritten, if they tried to push anything they had, they'd get this. they'd get the same exact message, and they'd try to do a git pull, and they'd get a bunch of merge conflicts, which is actually what I'm going to do right now. Just to show you guys what a merge conflict looks like. Oh, shoot. Actually, I didn't get any conflicts. My bad. Yeah. No, actually, like, so git, so I'm gonna actually redo that. Ugh, git reset hard head tilde 1. So now I'm back to this commit, right? And if you do git log, I just want to see the last 2 commits. You'll see the merge never happened. So what do I actually want to do now? Oh, so say I think this is a totally useless comment, and I just want to remove it. And I say, oops. Okay, now it's in there. And this is because of the rebase, right? Like you said before, when you rebase, I've rewritten the last 2 commits because I did git rebase -I head tilde 2, if I remember right. Or I edited 2 of them. Does that make sense? There we go. That's what I wanted. I want to see a merge conflict. So I'm actually going to open this up in Atom just so it's a little bit cleaner. Wait, where are you? This isn't what I want. Oh, you know why it's wrong? Because I'm in the wrong freaking file. This is actually in Git Workshop 2. Here we are. So this is what a merge conflict looks like. And all merge conflicts in a file will say head, which is like your current branch. So this is what it's going to look like. This is what changes have happened in your current branch. And this is what changes have happened in whatever commit starts off with 4563A91, which is actually this commit, right? So it's saying, in this commit, this is what it looked like. And in this commit, this is what it looked like. And in both of these commits, like that I'm trying to merge together, these changes happen simultaneously. And I don't know what to do with them. Like, I don't know which version I should have. So I'm just going to say it's a merge conflict, let you know about it, and you can go into this file and fix it. And say, like, I go, hey, actually, I want both of them. So all you do really is you just delete these markers and you just continue working. Like, you'd save this, git status, and you go, hey, fix the conflicts and run git commit. So you'd add this, and you say, hey, you have things to be committed, git commit, and this is the generated thing, right? Oh, you actually don't need this anymore. And that's it. Does that make sense? So Okay, this is GitHub being laggy again. There we go. This is my 2 rebased files. The 2 things I did during my rebase. And then this is me doing a git pull from here and then merging it back into this. And then pushing this entire branch onto there. Does this make sense? Okay, there's no questions. Whoa. Okay, let me see. So it looks like I've tried to make a complicated graph. I've tried to make the graph as complicated as I could get using a really sketchy project. But usually, if you're working in industry, usually the master branch will have something that their automatic build system is always going to be checking the master branch for new commits, and they'll be trying to run a build off of the latest commit there. And usually people in the company will get mad at you if you break master. Like if you push something that was just broken code and like it wouldn't build and the test wouldn't pass. So usually like you'd have a development branch or just called dev. And usually people would branch off of a dev branch and they'd say like, oh, I'm creating a new feature, I'm fixing a bug. And then once they've written their own tests and they've made sure everything passed, then they'd merge like these individual branches back into dev. And like once enough features have been made, they'd create a tag of it. I don't know if I have enough time to cover tags, but usually it's a simple thing. You just do git tag, whatever commit you're on, to say like git tag, like git tag 2.1. Okay, confession, I don't use tags often enough to know. Usually I have to look it up every single time I do it, but second thought, I really don't remember how to use tags. Sorry about that. I think so, but usually like when you tag something, it will tag the current commit that you're on. Oh. Sorry, can't help you much with tags right now. Yeah, but just in general, tags are something you can use when you're deleting a branch, but you still want to keep track of all of the things there. Like I've used tags before to just say, oh, this was like one version that might be useful later, and I pushed a tag there, but then I later on deleted the branch. So like that's what you could do with the detached head situation sometimes. Yeah. Is there anything else I want to show you guys? Oh, but let me see. I've covered this. I've covered this. I've covered this quite a bit. Oh, so like all that stuff I was using with one line and color always, like you can look it up, look up the actual, all the things possible in this table. So usually like you do pretty format and just a bunch of things. They have a pretty cool one called Tree Walk. And it basically sort of tries to draw the network graph inside of your repository. And so, and I've shown you the difference between a soft and a hard reset, right? A soft reset keeps your changes. A hard reset actually totally deletes them. SSH key setups, you would want to do this with GitHub. And actually, I have not done this yet with GitHub. But with a private repository, like, for example, this is my homework repository. Touch, hello. Status. Oh, and I actually have stuff here. But if I try to do a git push, whoa, actually. Hey. On second thought, I'm not gonna bother with you right now. Oh. You know what? I know why this isn't working, because I do have SSH keys set up with Bitbucket. I'll do that later. Sorry. The main point I wanted to make, though, is usually when you push to a private repository, they'll ask you for a username and your password. And like, if you set up your SSH keys inside of here, so usually inside of this, like, if you do SSH keygen, it'll generate all of that stuff for you. And all you would need to do is you copy the contents of this public file into a part of GitHub, like over here. And yeah, I have quite a few here, but you would just add an SSH key, and from there on out, every single time you do a git push or a git clone from a private repository, you wouldn't need to deal with typing in your username and your password over and over and over again. And another thing that I wanted to mention to you guys was GitUp. It's actually something pretty cool. So earlier on during this presentation, I said Git pull usually only pulls from one branch at a time, right? And you saw like how I was doing, actually, I don't want to do that. I was doing this, right? And it says, okay, fetching origin and, oh God. Other than that crap, it actually pulls master, Meredith, and my partner's branch simultaneously, right? Usually git pull only pulls one thing at a time. if you actually go to their repository, this pretty much says the problems with git pull. And like, this is just something I personally really liked. If you are going to install Git up though, I highly recommend installing gems through RVM, which stands for Ruby Version Manager. All you have to do is just copy paste that one line into your terminal and you get RVM and the gems you want. Because GitHub actually has like an issue with like, I think it has an issue with Ruby 1.8 and the newest Ruby version is 1.9. So that's all on some Linux systems, but yeah. And I've already shown you guys how to use git stash. If you wanted to get back your changes, you just do git stash pop, and that's it, pretty much. Is there anything else you guys want to know? Like, sorry, this has been like quite a train wreck of a presentation, but yeah. But yeah, like feel free to hit me up if you guys have questions.
Okay, I guess we're done.
Okay.
with our workshop.
Okay.
Just, small.
Stop sharing. And then I think you minimized it, right? Yeah.